this song, I'd like to sing, hi! I don't like fancy introductions. They were like, you want an introduction? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm thrilled about this because my favorite TV series as a kid was Batman, the live action series, and I got to meet Adam West and talk to him and tell him my favorite line before he passed, and he was delightful and wonderful and amazing, and I'm a huge fan of his, so I'm excited to be on the stage. This is kind of, I don't know if I want to sit down and act really pretentious in this, inside the actor's studio type of setting. I should have brought my horn. I would love to play my horn in here. Yeah, not bad acoustics, yeah. So as a musician, you kind of check out acoustic spaces a lot because it's fun. My name is Sean Schemmel. I'm best known as the voice of Goku. Thank you. On Dragon Ball. Yeah, this is not a comfortable chair. I'm just going to have to stand. Or maybe I have a table. Oh, I got a podium. Actually, that'd be fun. Let me see if I can make this work. I'm best known as the voice of Goku on Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Kai. And that way I can there's going to be notes after this. Give me that little mic stand, I'll put this mic on it. And now I have something to stand in front of so I don't feel uncomfortable, so I have like a grounding point. Today we're going to be talking about graphene and its use in modern manufacturing. No, I'm kidding. I'm a big tech nerd, so I'm like, I would love to talk about graphene all this time. Wait, do we need a taller one? Let's see. Testing please. Maybe I'll just hold it, I don't know. Anyway, I'm best known as the voice of Goku and Pink Eye and Nail in Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. I've also done dozens of voices over the last 20 years for various shows such as Ninja Turtles, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Dr. Valiant Carla, yes. Hi there, Dr. Carla. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. That was a fun voice. And I'm a voice actor, ADR director, writer, whatever. I list my credits so in case there's some writing I'd like to ask a question about or whatever, so that you have some material to ask questions with. I know we live in the modern age. I never get over this when I'm doing panels. Just people just filming, just showing it. No, I'm not mad. I'm just like, it makes me so uncomfortable. I'm like, yes, what's your question? Yes, what is your question? I'm now documenting your whole, I'm almost 50 this year, so I grew up without all this. I was born in 68. I still like answering machines, Crystal joke. I always leave him an announcing machine message because anytime people say, text me for faster service, I'm like, I don't want to text you for faster service. I want to leave you a funny message because text don't have emotions and voice acting does. So I want to leave my emotions on your answering machine and then you will call me back and we'll have a normal conversation like humans who aren't talking through veils. Anyway, so I'd like to open up the floor. We can do some questions. Where's my roving? What's your name again, by the way? Heather. Yeah. Heather's my roving Donahue. Most of you will not get that joke, unless you're my age. Because Donahue used to walk in the audience and be like doing this, and then he used to like ask a question. So we're gonna do a Q&A about Dragon Ball. Just for the record, here's how much I know about the Dragon Ball movie. As much as is in the trailer we released. I don't know anything. They're not telling me nothing. I know we want to record in September, October, or somewhere around there. I don't know. I know our release date is in January. And I know it's really cool and awesome, and I'm looking forward to screaming my head off again. And again. But and I'm very, very excited about the movie. So, and I've been to San Francisco before. I've never been to Santa Clara. I've not been in this area before for a convention, so other than San Francisco. So it's very cool to be here. I drove up from LA. It was a nice drive. It was a lot of fun. So I'm gonna let Heather run around with a mic, and let me show my ringer's off in case my mom calls. She called me on a panel once. It was really funny.
His reaction with Broly is new, like never seen before.
Hey Sean, so I wanted to ask, in the new Broly movie, like Broly is being like reintroduced, like the characters have like never seen him before. How does it feel like the character, like your reaction that Goku's never met him before, never seen him before in his life, and now you gotta like create like a new reaction to meeting this new character?
Well, I'm not too worried about it only because I recorded the movie over 15 years ago, so I don't remember any of it other than punching Broly in the gut and blasting his guts apart, which was particularly satisfying. So I don't know. For me as an actor, it's really simple. I mean, if you're told that the character has not seen Broly before, then you act appropriately for the dialogue and the visuals in the scenes. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable here. There we go. This is turning into a comedy routine here real quick. So yes, I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about the animation style. It seems like very 90s, very old school manga style, which I've always wanted. I'm really excited about the artwork. I've had the privilege of meeting the animation director and a couple of the people behind the animation crew who I have tremendous respect for. Trust me, animating is, I think voice acting is pretty challenging. I think animating is way harder. But maybe I say that because I can't draw, but I tried to animate something with a little animation program. Like, man, you gotta do this all the time, like 24 frames, and then do that for hours, and then, oh my God, I want to put a gun to my head. So, I don't know how they do it, especially those stop motion animation guys. Like, I love Wallace and Gromit, it's like one of my favorite things. That stop motion animation, I'm just like, that's one of my favorite things ever. Those guys are just, you talk about meticulous, repetitive tasks, that is on a whole other level. So I'm very excited about the story and the movie and some of the characters they're going to be introducing along and going with Super. I wish we were done with Super so it kind of dovetail in like it is in Japan. But we'll be very close. We'll be through episode 99, I think, roughly by the end of the year. Most of that will have aired by now. And most of you guys who are hardcore fans are going to watch it in Japanese first anyway. So, you've already seen the whole thing in Japanese. So that's cool. And let's go to Donahue Heather. Let's get to our next person. So. Walk across, like getting popcorn.
Hi, Sean.
Hello.
So I'd like to ask, what was your favorite part about playing Goku? Any particular episode, movie, or even just a scene?
This part right here.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you guys. That's my favorite part.
My favorite part too.
Meeting people love it. It's people say, once you get old, I get some crazy fans that, drive me nuts, but I try to, and I have bad days where maybe I'm not always polite, but I try to be, because, I get where you're at, because I have my own things, like, I'm a fan of, and so I get geeked out when and you don't ever want to imagine that your hero, if that's how you look at me, or how I look at some other people in terms of whether you're looking up to someone, is a jerk. And you have to remember all these people that we love. I met Journey in the airport one day, and Neil Sean was so cool to me. He could have been a jerk, and I would have forgiven him, because I'm like, you probably have a right to be a jerk. You're up your butt all the time about Journey. And I even asked him the worst question. Like, I asked him if Steve Perry was going on tour, which was so, I'm sure you got asked that a million, and he was so nice about it. And I get it. No, my favorite part is the excitement. I get two reactions when I tell people, if indeed, or when they meet me. I get one or two reactions if you mention that you're on Dragon Ball or if you're voice Goku. I get, if they've never watched the show and don't give a crap. Or I get, and that is the best thing. The whole waking up, it just totally wakes up. And I love it when they don't believe me, and then I have to convince them, like, on the internet, and they go, no, you shouldn't be, no. And one time didn't believe me so much, he just said, no, he just walked away, and I go, okay, kick yourself later. He just wouldn't believe me. So it's a really, it's part of it's because of the medium, it's, there's, this guy built this floor is not, getting, oh my God, your floor is amazing. Although maybe there isn't some rock star floor maker, but it's part of the medium that lets you, meet so many people and connect with so many people. So outside of meeting everyone, I guess my favorite part, I love the Goku King Kai scenes. Those are my favorite because I voice King Kai also, and it's fun to try to do that comedy and make it sound like two different characters. And Goku and King Kai's relationship is very funny to me. I also really enjoy Bubbles and Gregory quite a bit. Chris voices Bubbles, and I think it's really funny what he does with it. So yeah, basically, doing conventions and meeting people is really, it's to this day, doing it 20 years, it's still surreal to have a random person. I got a phone call from a bank today, while on my panel. He goes, hey, is this Sean Schemmel, voice of Goku? Yes. I go, yeah, did you get my number? Yes, I'm with this, and I want to mention the bank name. I don't think I was a big bank, like let's say it's Bank of America, but it wasn't. I'm with Bank of America, and we reach out to potentially high-profile clients to see what your investment opportunities are. Like, how the hell did you get my number? Well, actually, you can just look it up online. I'm like, great, I have to change my number now. But then I said, well, since you're a fan, what kind of interest rate can you give me? And he's, well, let's talk later. I gotta go sign some autographs, but you know, you send me an email and I can see if you're legit or not. At first I was really offended, but somebody's like calling me out of the blue, but he was so nice. And it just happened like 2 hours ago. That kind of weird stuff happens where you just get a random phone call. Or one time I was calling, not Sprint, I would call like AT&T. I was calling one of the service providers I have, and I was complaining about something. And I don't ever play the whole like, well, you know who I am card. I hate it. I think it's so gross. And so the guy figures it out. It's like, wait, your voice sounds really familiar. And of course he knows my name. How do you spell your last name? Sean, S-C-H-E. Oh man, I'm a big fan. All right, let me help you out with your phone problem. And then they just immediately, you know, and I don't even ask for it. I'm like, okay, I'll help you do this for everybody. So that's kind of cool. That kind of freaks me out. One time, I will out myself occasionally. I know I'm digressing, but I love to digress. I was driving a Nissan to take my car in, and I was pulled up next to a car, and I saw them had a Dragon Ball hanging, a foam, fuzzy, plushy Dragon Ball hanging from their muffler. And I thought, A, that's dangerous, catch on fire. And B, that's awesome. So I was just driving along, I was feeling kind of funny, and I was like pulling, I go, I couldn't help but notice your Dragon Ball. And they went, oh, dude, can you try to grab? I go, follow me to the Nissan dealer. And then we went to the Nissan dealer, and they followed me all the way there, and you know, I was having my car work done, and then I signed autographs, signed the ball, and I signed the foamy ball that was hanging underneath his muffler. And he was a great guy. So I love moments like that. It's you know, I'm kind of an existential philosopher, so to me it's like, you know, really special encapsulating moments in time that, you know, when I'm 80 years old, they will be my fondest memories. You know what I'm saying? So that's the long answer to your question. Sorry.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm gonna let Heather Donahue pick people, and if she stays too localized, I'll send her to the other side of the room because I don't want people to miss out. All right. I love your hat. Hi.
I heard that I saw a video about you saying that you passed out doing the Super Saiyan 3 transformation.
No.
Like it was like your intense. What was your most intense like scream that you've ever done?
Well, I passed out during Super Saiyan 4 Kamehameha on Dragon Ball GT. I didn't pass out during Super Saiyan 3. That was not a problem, although it was difficult. And what was the question?
Like what was like the most intense one you've ever done?
Most intense thing I've ever done, probably most in recent years, I Will Not Let You Destroy My World part in Battle of Gods. That was pretty crazy, and there's a video of me doing it online. It's pretty lost my shit there. And then I just did in Dragon Ball Super the Kaioken times 10 Super Saiyan God mode, which was difficult because I was purposefully trying to make the scream sound really difficult and painful because I knew that Goku was accidentally damaging his chi, and then when you get Dragon Energy Disorder or DOED, which I thought was hilarious. I added that line, I said, or DOED, because they always spell out the acronyms on the diseases, and so I thought it's funny, but nobody else got the joke. But I'm like, it's DOED, you got DOED, Goku. So I was trying to make it, that was actually very physically painful to do. I mean, it's always painful, but what makes it really hard is if you don't get a cut, like if you get a cut, like if I'm doing Kamehameha, and I'm holding it, but then they cut away to another angle, well then I can reset, and then pick up that ha where it left off, and you should give me a break. Sometimes they don't do that. Or sometimes you're doing a Kamehameha, and it's like, and then you see the animation, and you're holding it, and then the animation, then he pushes it a little further, and you go a little further, and I'm like, okay. So usually I'll time it out, and I'll fake scream it, I'll just go, Kamehameha, and I'm just doing it real quiet, just feeling how the time, and watching the timing, and sometimes we do picky things like I'll do Kamehameha, and I said that May sounds like crap, let's just come in for the May. And I'll do the May, and I'll stitch it together, but usually the first 2 or 3 passes is the whole thing. And then we'll go through and spot check and stitch things together in Pro Tools to make it sound all, and then the mixers make me sound like probably way better than I do. So they're really good at making me sound awesome. So that was fun. Where's Heather Donahue? There she is, all right, good, next question.
First of all, how you doing?
Oh, good, how are you?
Good. But my question is, what was your favorite arc?
My favorite arc I discovered through watching the series being in the series for so many years, and watching it and being asked that question a lot, I figured out during Battle of Gods and Resurrection F that my favorite arc is the whole Goku-Vegeta storyline, the whole Goku-Vegeta relationship. So that's its own arc. One might argue that's the entire story of Dragon Ball, but it's not. But that is the Goku-Vegeta rivalry, frenemy situation is fascinating to me. And Goku just like blows it off. Goku, I don't think he ever really gets like genuinely miffed at Vegeta. Like he might be angry and rageful in a fight, but he's not like, you don't see him at Chi-Chi says, man, Vegeta's pissing me off, man. He won't train with me, and that guy's so mean, and he doesn't, never, he's just like, yeah, maybe I'll train with him, maybe I'll do this, maybe, he's always down to, forgive Vegeta for whatever, as long as he'll, fight him. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Is Ultra Instinct Goku's final form?
I don't know yet. Keep in mind, people ask me a lot of questions like this, and for you younger kids, I hope you understand the following. Remember, I'm an actor who plays Goku, and the source material for Goku is created in Japan by Akira Toriyama and the staff at Shueisha and Toei, etc., but it's generally Akira Toriyama's vision. So, I would not know, based on that knowledge, I would not know if it's his final form. It sounds very final to me. It sounds like, well, that might be the end, but my personal theory is, or what my personal wondering is, he's in God mode, and are Goku and Vegeta being groomed to be the next gods of creation and destruction like Whis and Beerus? Are they? I don't know. It seems that way. I wonder where they'll end up. Will Vegeta be the god of destruction? Will Goku be the god of creation, or vice versa, since Goku has to break everything when he fights? But yeah, I honestly don't know. I would love to know. And they're Akira Toriyama's wily. He'll be like, but there's more. Oh, but we're gonna do this. He's very clever, so he's hard to predict, which makes him interesting, Except with the exception of, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, hang on, I'll get you in a second. It's like I was joking with myself the other day. I was like, wait, Dragon Ball, the show, has its own Dragon Balls because it never dies. Like it constantly resurrects itself. It's got its own. It's art imitating life, imitating art. Now we can go. Heather Donahue, yes.
Hi, my name is Phil.
Hi, Phil.
I'm wondering what it's like playing as Goku Black as a villain.
That was tremendously fun. It was a little challenging because I was trying to imitate the guy playing Zamasu, so it sounded like they were two of the same guy in the same room because Zamasu from the parallel dimension is in Goku's body, so it has to come out of my voice box. That was a little challenging. He's a really great actor. And so that part was difficult, but once it all came together, especially the scenes with Trunks, I really enjoyed. I'm waiting for you to take the question. Is that okay? Okay, go
Hi,
ahead.
Sean again.
Hi.
From your autograph section.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question. So, like, on Dragon Ball Super for the English dub, for the Goku Black saga, since you did Goku and Goku Black,
Yeah.
the voices for English dub, how does it feel to like transition from the Goku, like switch from the Goku voice to the Goku Black voice while recording?
What was the last part?
Like you switch from like when you have Goku and Goku Black as the characters to record as switch from the Goku voice to the Goku Black voice.
It was uncomfortable, but also liberating. So it's uncomfortable because it's a new voice you want to get right. It's liberating because I don't have to be a Boy Scout anymore, and be a goody two shoes, and I can be vicious and evil. So that was fun. I mean, I was trying to make the reacts even sound like when they're fighting that the Goku Black reacts would not sound as similar to Goku's signature fight reacts, so that would sound very lusty. Like killing lust, not romantic lust, but killing lust as he's fighting and just really, really relishes every punch in a very mean way. So when you hear all that, all that stuff, you can hear the different, nuances of each character, which is exciting for me to do. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm an audio guy too, so a lot of times I'm in the booth, and for me, audio is ear candy. So I'll hear other actors or whatever, or other sound effects. Oh, I gotta play that again. Oh, I gotta play that again. I keep joking. I keep hearing French horn licks in Dragon Ball Super, and I'm like, I swear I'm bringing my horn. I'm bringing my horn to a session, and I'm gonna lay a French horn lick on top of that, and we'll mix it together. But they won't let me. But I want to put French horn licks on Dragon Ball Super. And I go with the ones that are on there. Next question. Oh, right next to you. Yes, hi.
Are you still planning to Ultra Instinct?
Am I still gonna do it? I plan to do it when we record it. We're on episode 80 something right now. I won't get into Ultra Instinct stuff until next year after the movie, because we'll finish probably through 99 by the end of the year, and then Ultra Instinct stuff is a bit later. I'm excited to do it. I have some plans on how I want to do it. I haven't totally sussed that out yet, but it'll definitely be a very special session to make sure I get it exactly where we think it should be for the moment, for the scene, or for whatever scenes that Goku is Ultra Instinct in. Yes, Heather Donahue.
Hi, my name is Ricky.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching Dragon Ball since the movies, and I always thought they were canon. I never knew the difference, but I just wanted to ask you your opinion when you redubbed the movies, classic, whatever movie you picked. Which one was your favorite? And growing up, as I was watching Dragon Ball, I knew once this comes to America, it's gonna be a huge hit.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what your thoughts were when you were chose to, be the voice of Goku. Did you have any? You didn't know who the character was, or you just?
I didn't know anything. I really didn't. The movies. My favorite movies are Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. But of the old stuff, the first movie I recorded was Lord Slug, and then I do like the King Cold movies with King Cold and Frieza. Those were really enjoyable to me. I don't remember the rest of them. I probably should go back and rewatch them and see how much I like them now, because my experience with the character is different. And then what was the other question about?
It's just because I knew this series was gonna be amazing.
Oh, what I thought were? What did I think was gonna be a hit?
When you just got the offer for the role, did you just come in cold or
I came in pretty. I researched the character before the audition as much as I could, and they gave me source materials when I got there for the audition. But I couldn't prep a lot. I asked before I came into work. I said, please give me every tape you have. I want to make sure I know. Not knowing a lot of things, such as Funimation's version at the time was designed to appeal to more widespread audience, so it wasn't exactly like the Japanese. So I was trying to really play this character right that they've kind of written kind of as a classic hero character versus altruistic hero character versus Akira Toriyama's take, which is not necessarily an altruistic hero, which I've always wanted to play Goku that way. And I think we pretty much did that in Kai, which I'm really proud of. I remember thinking, I couldn't tell, this is totally intuition, so it was not any evidence, I had no evidence whatsoever that it would be a mega hit, but I just felt like it would be. And I don't know if that's because I was just real excited and attached to it, and I thought, and I was so positive about my own life, I'm like, well, of course it's gonna be a hit, I'm gonna do it. Not that I thought I was a great actor or anything at the time, or I thought I was great at voice acting at the time, but I just thought, well, it's on TV, and, it's a cartoon, and then the more I got in the series, and what really woke me up was, more I got in the series, I kept thinking, why isn't this more popular? And then when we did Kai, I was like, oh, I see why it's not more popular. We didn't do it the original story justice, because the original story to me, and the details of the original story, especially for Kai, were so, the profundity of why Dragon Ball is so popular became clear to me. And I wanted to support that and honor that. I'm a huge believer. If I had my way when I got the job, I would have said, let me have Akira Toriyama's phone number. And I would have had a 2 or 3 hour discussion with him on the character and how to do the character. But we were taking over for the Canadian cast, so my vocal choices were already set. I had to imitate the original Canadian cast, and then and I had to imitate the King Kai voice, which I actually do like better than the Japanese voice, even though he's a really well-known, respected actor. Because I don't get it. And I asked a Japanese person, I go, this doesn't make sense with the on-screen animation to me. How does it receive in Japan? They go, oh no, it's perfect. I'm like, okay, well I don't get it. Especially when King Kai's mouth is flapping like crazy and all you hear is, well, that's actually going on. It was sounds like a guy falling asleep. But apparently he's a very good actor in Japan, and I have much respect for him and for what he does, although I did not understand that. So when I'm watching that in Japanese going, okay, I don't understand how to play this, I just go like, yeah, I talk like this. Which was kind of because of the jowls, and also because the original, it was Terry Clausen, I believe, who played him in Canada. He sounded that way to me, which to me sounded like Buddy Hackett. So I was just kind of doing a Buddy Hackett impression. And there were some things I did in the original Z that I probably wouldn't have done knowing the character a little better. I'm just super happy with how Kai turned out and all the movies we did after that. And my goal has always been to honor the character in exactly the way. I mean, honestly, with all respect and love for Funimation, I don't give a crap. I'm a hardcore believer in the guy who made it up gets to tell me how to play it. That's hardcore for me. And I've seen many stories where the original creators, such as Philip K. Dick, who created Blade Runner and other things, they go to movie and then they change everything, and the artist is understandably upset. I'm almost always in the camp of just make it like the guy who's telling you you're screwing it up makes it. And on times where it's screwed up, it's because some director with a big ego just said, "Oh, well, people like this more," and it always ends up sucking usually. So I'm a huge believer in honoring the original creator of the meaning of a character. And I feel like, and even ever since we got on Super, and a lot of Kai, I insist on Japanese scripts in the booth. So and every once in a while I'll catch. Look, the Funimation writers are very, very good, and they're much better than what happened when we first started working on Z. But every once in a while, when I've been playing the character so long, every once in a while I'll notice things that are to me a little out of the basic rules of Goku. He's not egoic. He's not a narcissist. He's not a Saiyan pride warrior. He likes fighting the strongest no matter what. He, is generally always happy unless somebody's threatening, and he, to me, he symbolizes the beginner's mind in Zen Buddhism and Zen ideology. Goku loosely means that, like master of knowing nothing. To me, this is like the transmission of enlightenment. So to me, it's always beginner's mind, child mind. It has to have that vibe, that feeling, which I'm a huge believer in as a human and terrible at executing. So I hope that, and especially did you grow up watching it in Japanese in Japan?
I grew up watching it in Chinese, Cantonese dub.
Oh, okay, that should be interesting.
Yeah, it was just movies. I didn't know didn't know he took so long to charge up.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, I can't watch this personally. But
did you speak Cantonese or Mandarin?
I speak, I hear and speak Cantonese.
Okay.
And I grew up with that dub. I wasn't a fan of the Japanese original dub, but then when it came to America, I got confused, and then you became the definitive. So
right.
So I love what I grew up with, but also with obviously what you did and Team 4-Star and stuff. So I just wanted to know, like for me, I grew up. I knew this was like I can understand this better in English. I knew that this is going to be an amazing hit in America, and I just wanted to know from you,
it's one of those things. I jokingly liken it to some of my favorite bands. You're the rock bands that they have a hardcore niche following, but then they kind of blast into the mainstream sometimes, and they always have that hardcore niche following. I feel like my favorite band, Rush, is like that, and I'm a huge Rush guy, and I feel Dragon Ball is real similar to that way. There's this core that is everybody who's just, I like Dragon Ball when Dragon Ball wasn't cool, and then there's all these new fans who are really starting to love it, and it's become mainstream. I hear, I'm flattered. I get recognized all the time because of YouTube videos, and I'm a voice actor. Part of the pleasure of being a voice actor is you've got your anonymity when you're in public. I get recognized in my hotel. I get recognized the DMV. I don't have a distinct in my hair or whatever it is. I mean, I usually don't mind it unless I'm having a really bad day and need my personal space. But my point is that it's gone so mainstream. It's someone asked me, do you think Dragon Ball is a rich enough world to have like kind of a Disney level of theme parks and characters and richness? And I think with the total number of characters and the big world that Dragon Ball is, yeah, you could have a Dragon Ball theme. I think it's got this staying power. I think after everybody who's ever been associated with it, is long dead years from now, it'll be one of those things like something that never goes away, like The Simpsons will be that way, and I think it's in that same vernacular of, that's the right word, or genre of shows that are this, cult hit that became mainstream but maintained its cult base. In other words, when it went mainstream, all your cult fans didn't go, it sucks now. They still love it too. But of course they have their own saying pride around it, and I don't blame them. I respect those fans tremendously. I get those fans a lot. But anybody else who loves it, it's a dream come true. Like I pinch myself pretty much every day. I'm like, what? And I forget I'm Goku sometimes, and people will say, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, I do that thing. Yes, okay. How are you? Because I just live it so much. I'm never away from it. I have to oftentimes think. I have to imagine. I have to picture time before 1999 where I pictured what my life was like to see how I felt and what my world was like before that, to understand what life was like for me before that. It's really a surreal experience. Let me get to the next question. That was a great question, though. Thank you.
I was just given that you have to wrap it up. Do you want to do one last?
I thought I had how long is my panel?
Until 3:30. It is.
I have a 30-minute panel?
Yeah.
Who does 30-minute panels?
I have no idea.
I always do 45 or an hour panels because I talk a lot, and that's the reason. That's why I budget my questions. All right, I didn't know that either.
You
Well, I'm
wanna do-
disappointed that we're only here for 30 minutes. I apologize, that's why I talked so long, because I figured I had another 20 minutes to yap and get a bunch more questions. So let's do a speed round real quick.
So, are you aware of both of the DBZ One Piece Toriko crossover anime special and Son Goku and Friends Return?
Yeah, I am familiar with those, yeah.
How come Funimation hasn't dubbed that or localized it?
I believe it has something to do, those are done by different animation companies or different companies.
Toei animates all three of those animes.
It may be a license through Bandai Namco, and Funimation has a license, I think. I can't really speak, well, just be clear, I can't speak to this officially, but my guess is, based on information I know, that it is not part of the license for, it's a licensing thing. And my guess is, and I'm purely speculating, that the license that gives Funimation the right to dub Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Z does not include those. I think Namco Bandai has something to do with that. So just because Toei animates it doesn't mean that that license went as a package deal with, sometimes these licenses get broken up. They'll say, we'll let you do this many episodes, or we'll let you do this and not the movies. But I'm sure there is a legal and contractual reason why we have not done those, because they have not ever approached us on it, and anytime I ask Funimation, they're like, we don't have the right to do that or something. I think that's true. I get nervous about talking about these things. I'll be honest, I'm an old man. I am so disgusted and frustrated with something, little comment, it's just wildfire all over Twitter. Everybody's going nuts and being reactive, and Sean said this, so you must be a jerk, or Sean knows this, and I'm like, everybody chill out. I'm speculating, so now when I answer things, I have to put giant, caveats in there. I'm pretty sure it's because that it's not part of our license to do the series and the movies. And even the movie itself, part of that's done through that's not even part of that. We had to do another deal through Fox, I think. I'm not sure who owns the rights to that. And I'm not in the licensing department, I'm an actor. But if it's not being dubbed, I guarantee you Funimation would love to dub it. And as an actor, I would love to dub it. And if there's enough fan interest, I could see maybe them trying to get that license. I'm disappointed that we haven't done it. So I would love to do that. Anyway, let's do one last question, we'll get out of here.
They're giving me the...
They're gonna need what?
Can we do one more, or do we get a...
Do Kamehameha.
I'd rather not scream right now. For apologies.
Is there something in Goku that you would like to change and why?
I mean, we got to do it on Goku Black, to be mean and evil for once. But Goku is he's such a beautiful, pure character. It's not really something I really want to mess with. I love seeing him struggle with modern things, such as when he was messing, he couldn't work a cell phone right, or I love one of my favorite things. He's got a grocery list and he's got a drawing of a pig. Like he's got a drawing of the meats he needs to get from the store. Like I love, and it's a crappy drawing, and he can't even spell right. Like I love that he just is like, everything's great. You gonna go fight? And, it's like he's so light. I would never want to change that. I don't think. I think Akira Toriyama really nailed it with that character, which is evidenced by everyone here in the room today. I apologize for the shorter panel. I thought it was much longer. That's the scheduling they're doing, and I got to get off here for another actor. So thank you very much. I'll be at my table later. Great meeting all of you. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you.